I got a Liv Morgan hot take that is going to piss off a lot of fans out there, but it's also going to make a lot of fans happy. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is and why there's going to be a little bit of outrage from some of you guys. Now, look, 2024, it's been Liv Morgan's year. If you just look at her situation, you look at who she's feuded with, and she's come a long way in her WWE career. She's come from the very bottom, an afterthought, a utility player who is using a plug-and-play type person, getting other talents over to becoming a main event star. If you look at her feuds with Becky Lynch, if you look at her feuds with Rhea Ripley as we head into 2025, Liv Morgan has put people on notice. We are going to get the blow-off between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley January 6th, Monday Night Raw, Netflix debut. It's going to be a blow-off of a feud that dates back to April. It has lasted more than what people anticipated. It has lasted much longer than some of you guys have wanted. Some of you guys have called for this feud to end. The Liv Morgan situation is pretty cut and dry, in my opinion, in my eyes, because Liv Morgan, she has gone from the very bottom to the very top. Her feuds with Becky Lynch, her feuds with Rhea Ripley has elevated her to this point where she is doing multiple segments on Monday Night Raw, opening and closing the show, something in which no one had anticipated going into 2024. In 2023, she was an afterthought. Heck, the last 6 months of that year, she missed time due to injury. She even got arrested at one point. Returning in possession for Oblivion! And kicking off the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. A declaration that I think no one could have ever anticipated, including myself, could have been as big as it is. Now, I'm going to give you the secret sauce here in a minute, but this hot take is this. I believe wholeheartedly that Liv Morgan has had the best 2024 out of anyone. Michael Cole recently said that on the Raw Netflix kickoff event. I think she's had a better year than Rhea Ripley. I think she's had a better year than Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Bayley, Nia Jax. You can go down the list, okay? And I literally just did. I recently did a video looking at the top 10 stars of 2024. A lot of those names were on that list. I think she's had the best year out of anyone because, let's break it down. No one could have ever predicted that this was going to happen going into 2024. No one could have predicted it. A overnight sensation, if you really think about it, where you go from the very bottom to the very top. And it was important because you had to look at the landscape of WWE. So she returns in January. She does Women's Royal Rumble match. Then she goes into a feud with Becky Lynch. Now, she doesn't win that feud with Becky Lynch, and rightfully so, because A, Becky Lynch at the time was a bigger star than Liv. B, they had plans for her to win the Women's Elimination Chamber match, and then go on and challenge Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 40. All right? Then we had a situation in which Rhea Ripley went over Becky Lynch because WWE knew Becky was leaving, and then Rhea gets injured. And so they're like, crap. And you were going to have Liv and Rhea work. And so now it's like, we got to vacate the championship. So out goes Rhea. So you just lost your top Raw female star. Okay, boom, she's gone. She's going to be on the shelf for 3 months, 4 months, whatever the case may have been. I think it ended up being 4 months. I digress. So she's out. Then you have Becky Lynch. And then like, okay, she's our technically our biggest star, but outside of Rhea Ripley, she's second. Okay, well, she's about to leave in May. Well, crap. All right. So now we just lost Rhea, and now we're about to lose Becky. Well, what do we do? Okay, well, we look at the talent roster and we go, okay, we got Io Sky, and that's about it. Let's do something with someone. Well, let's pick Liv Morgan, right? She's been a former SmackDown Women's Champion. She's got a little bit of history running it at the main event scene, and the fans love her. So let's do it, and let's get the machine behind her. Let's turn her heel. Let's crank up the volume on her gimmick, and let's run with this. And so they did. And so they had her feud with Becky, and obviously she went over Becky and won the Women's World title at the King and Queen of the Ring PLE, and she beat her 2 nights later on Monday Night Raw, right? And so now it's like, oh, okay, so we might have lost Rhea for a little bit, but we're going to get her back. And yeah, we're losing Becky, but she'll be, back down the road, back in the company. Okay, well, we got Liv Morgan. Let's see what we can do with her, right? And then when Rhea comes back, we'll just have Rhea beat her, and we'll go on, and everything will be fine. Well, Liv started getting over with the fans, and it's like, oh, we have something here. And, oh, her pairing with Judgment Day, that's interesting. Okay, the fans are buying into this. Let's heat it up a little bit more. Let's put her in opening segments. Oh, she can carry that segment? Oh, all right, let's try the main event. Ooh, she can carry the main event too. All right, well, let's start splicing her into the shows. Look, if you look at any top-tier stars, most of the time, WWE will splice them throughout the show, right? They'll be in the opening segment, maybe they'll be in the final segment, but they're always used throughout the show because every time that a fan is watching the show, or back in the day when you were channel surfing, you wanted to see who was on television. If you stopped and you saw, Steve Austin, maybe you would hang out and watch the next segment, right? Or if you knew Steve Austin was coming up after this match, well, I'll watch this match and I'll wait for Steve Austin to come on. That's the theory of spicing main event stars throughout the show. I digress. So Liv gets over, and then they put her with Dominic, and she becomes a bigger star. And so by the time that Rhea comes back, it's like, we can't put the title on Rhea right now. Liv's too over as a heel right now. She's our best heel, arguably. Definitely in the women's division. And then so it's like, okay, well, let's extend this feud. And Rhea's already a babyface, so let's just have her chase Liv. Oh, well, that works. And so they just went with that, and they extended it. Now, look, as a guy who has legitimately talked about this feud since April, on a weekly basis, I've done at least one video on Liv or Rhea every single week since April, and talking about this feud. As someone who wanted to see a trilogy out of this feud, I did not anticipate them extending it as much as they did. And I'm not even saying that I was excited to see how they did it, right? Because, so you had SummerSlam, Liv goes over. You had the mixed tag team match at Bash in Berlin, Rhea and Damian Priest go over. Oh, okay. Then we had the rematch, Bad Blood. Raquel Rodriguez gets involved. Okay. And then Rhea gets injured. And they were already going to do War Games. It felt forced, right? Could they have done Rhea and Liv in a singles at Survivor Series in November? Yeah, they probably should have. But Rhea got injured, right? And they have to do a women's War Games match for whatever reason, right? If the feud warrants it, do it. If not, I don't care. I don't care about genders. Just go with whatever works the best, what fits the narrative. Well, they didn't do that. So now, then you could have done a Saturday Night's Main Event. Well, they made Io Sky the number one contender to get over Liv even more. Okay, and now we're going to finally do it at Raw on Netflix. So they extended it probably a little too far, probably past what they should have done, but they did that, and they went with that, and we live with that. But as we go into 2025, as we go into Raw on Netflix, I think you have to look at the year that Liv Morgan has had. You look at the feuds in which she's had, the elevation in which she has, and in my opinion, Liv Morgan has had the best 2024 out of any WWE superstar.